Oh, would you look at it?
Oh, boy, oh, buddy, oh, how.
Thanks for coming here, everybody. Welcome to Wolf Den Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Bob. Also joining me here is Will.
Hey.
I just realized I gotta move that chair. Hey, check it out. Look at us. We got shirts.
That's
and
right.
They're live on wolfdenapparel.com.
These are Wolf Den Podcast specific shirts.
Yes.
Yes.
Is literally just our logo, but longer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can go out and buy it and let people know that not only are you a Wolf Den fan, you're a super smart Wolf Den fan who knows there's a podcast out there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have this in my video on Thursday, and also these cups are now for sale.
Yes.
So you can get them now. So it's kind of a big launch on Thursday.
Yeah.
Figured it's a podcast shirt, so you guys should get first dibs.
That's
so
right.
Consider this like a soft launch. Also, let me know if you have any issues with WULFFDENapparel.com, because every once in a while people tell me there's like SSL certificate issues or something, or like security issues. Let me know if that happens, because that means I need to fuck with something.
Okay.
But it shouldn't be a problem. The shirts and the cups are fulfilled by Retroware, which is our management.
Yes.
So you'll go to wolfdenapparel.com, which looks nice, and then you go to the Retroware site,
which looks
it's all right. So yeah, enjoy. Thank you so much. Today, a whole lot of legal shit.
Yes.
We gotta go over.
Nintendo's been a very, very busy boy.
Oh,
as of late,
boy.
with their ninjas, it's going after everybody.
And you know how much I love talking about when Nintendo does some legal bullshit with emulators.
Yep.
Before that, though, Anthony Melee with 100 bits. Hey, Wolf Bros. Muting the stream, because I like listening to the show during work. Oh, okay, so he doesn't want any spoilers.
Yeah.
Black Ops 6 Zombies is peak holy shiz. It's so fun. Haven't had this much fun with a Call of Duty since Black Ops 3 in 2015. I don't like the zombie. Sorry.
Is it different from the other zombies modes in the past? Because I know like previous zombie modes, it's like you're in a location and you have to like work your way back while the zombies are coming at you.
Yeah, so I'm sure everyone watching this who's played zombies will say it's different.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, it is the same.
Okay.
Dante Mira, thank you for the 63 months of Bob and Will. Thank you.
That's a lot of months.
Lord Nora J, thanks for the 9 months. Thank you so much, everybody. I realize I don't even have the chats open. So we have 3 articles here of Nintendo's legal shenanigans.
Yes.
The first one is kind of an update on something we talked about a few weeks ago.
A very surprising update.
Yeah, this goes against what I theorized a little bit.
Right. So I guess we'll just dive right into that one
while I fix my stuff here.
In a rather bizarre twist of fate, Nintendo may have acquired the rights to the Ryu Jinx website from its original developers. Throughout 2024, Nintendo has been going after various Nintendo Switch emulators in an effort to stomp out piracy and emulation. While that seems like a futile effort in the long run, in the short term, it has made it increasingly difficult to emulate Switch games on PC. According to a search result from Whois, a database that lists the registration information.
Shocked myself.
Also, the monitor went dead. So, yeah.
I touched Will's camera and it shocked me. I knew it was going to happen.
I mean, it looks like we're still going. Okay. Where was I? Okay. According to the search result from Whois, a database that lists the registration information for owners of websites, Nintendo seemingly outright purchased the domain for Ryu Jinx. In an update from November 7, 2024, Nintendo of America Inc. is listed as the organization that owns RyuJinx.org. There has been no official word from either Nintendo or the Ryu Jinx team on the matter. The date listed could be when Nintendo officially acquired the domain, but it could also be when registrant information was updated. Why did Nintendo buy Ryu Jinx? The likely reason for Nintendo buying the domain is so that no one else can acquire it to rehost downloads of Ryu Jinx. Even with this preventative measure, there are still GitHub repositories available that host Ryu Jinx. It's not impossible to find it if you dig deep enough, though Nintendo is obviously being proactive and attempting to get it removed permanently. With the news that a Switch successor will play all current Switch titles, Nintendo's insistence on shutting down emulators could possibly be attributed to the Switch 2's offering improved performance. It's hard to say, but this story is certainly getting interesting.
Okay, so to summarize for the TikTok audience, it was just found that Nintendo owns the website to Ryu Jinx, the URL now. Nintendo famously sued Yuzu and the other Nintendo Switch emulator, the more popular Nintendo Switch emulator, got them to shut down completely. Ryu Jinx, it was said that Ryu Jinx took a deal.
Yes.
I interpreted that as Nintendo came to them and said, shut down or we're going to sue the pants off.
Right.
Other people interpreted that as they paid Ryu Jinx off.
Right.
I thought that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But this looks like there's a little more credit to that theory.
Yeah.
Because how did they get the website?
I mean, maybe they didn't pay any money. Maybe they're just like, give us your website or we will sue you into oblivion. And Ryu Jinx was probably like, okay.
That would be like insane.
Yeah.
That's like insane strong. I mean, they're already strong-armed, but that's like that's like, give me your property.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. But I saw a theory that apparently the people who I guess the guy who owns Ryu Jinx or something, so at least somebody, whoever is in authority there.
Yeah.
I think they're in Brazil. And that would be very difficult to go after them over copyright issues. So it is possible they were bought out.
Yeah.
I think that's still incredibly unlikely. It's insane all of the lengths that Nintendo's going to get these emulators shut down.
They are genuinely going scorched earth on everybody now.
So it's also possible that the URL the certificate just ran out and they happened to purchase it at the right time. But that would be really strange for Nintendo to do that. Yeah. Especially under their own name.
Yeah.
You'd think there would be like a lawyer or something that would do it for them.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just Nintendo solidifying that no one else is going to put Ryu Jinx back up.
Yeah.
Although, like the article says, there's already GitHub repositories, not suppository. That's something else.
Nope. Well, I think it would be impossible to remove it completely from the internet, but I think by taking down the main website and owning it, that's more about sending a message to anybody who would want to try to create their own Switch emulator. That like, we will go after you by any means necessary.
Yeah. Now, wouldn't it be cool if Nintendo was like, here's Ryu Jinx, put it on your PC and play your Nintendo games? That'd be cool. They would never do that.
No, of course not.
Didn't they buy the rights to a Mario porn and technically own it?
That's right. That's true. They did do that.
I've never heard of this.
You never heard this?
I've never heard of this.
There was a Super Mario Brothers porn parody in the early 90s starring Ron Jeremy as Mario. And Nintendo actually just bought all the rights to that movie so that it could never see the light of day.
Super Hornio Bros.
Yes, you see, because they're horny. And it ends in an O because they're Italian.
Oh, and there's a sequel. Both films star Buck Adams, along with T.T. Boy, Ron Jeremy, and Chelsea Lynx, together as the main characters. Nintendo bought the rights to the films to halt their distribution. Okay.
Now, I'm pretty sure the sequel is just a remake of the Japanese film Dicky Dicky Panic. Because dicks, you say.
Did you just came up with that?
Yes, I did.
Came up with that off
Are you proud of me now, Mom?
Wow. Preservation status. Initially, they're thought of as a rumor. Ron Jeremy's official site notes that while they would love to make both films available alongside the massive library they have, Nintendo bought up the rights to both films to halt distribution indefinitely. Jeremy notes in an interview that such buying of porn parodies to halt distribution are unheard of in the porn industry, and that he only found out about it when a company called Hot Movies tried to buy his back catalog for distribution and found out about the purchase. Okay. That's it. I never heard about that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is the first article on the docket for Nintendo's legal shenanigans.
Yes.
This is something they did a little bit ago.
Right.
And this is probably not a lawsuit. This is just them making a deal over the Ryu Jinx the stuff. But this next one is
a lawsuit.
And there's been a lot of hubbub on the internet about it. There's a lot of shit in this document that I think is very, very bad for everybody. So people, you just go on. Just go.
Okay.
Just go.
Nintendo is suing a man who allegedly repeatedly streamed pirated and emulated Nintendo Switch games, sometimes before they were released, and at times directed his audience to popular Switch emulators and other privacy tools, according to a new lawsuit viewed by 404 Media. It's common for Nintendo to send cease and desist letters, file takedown requests with platforms that host emulators, or sue companies that create piracy tools. But it appears that in this case, the defendant, Jesse Kean, who usually goes by every game guru online, got under Nintendo's skin because he didn't stop streaming the emulated games in response to the company's usual tactics. Instead, whenever one of his channels was shut down, he opened a new channel on other platforms, directed his seemingly small audience to pirate Nintendo games, and at times contacted Nintendo to tease the company directly. The lawsuit shows that Nintendo followed Kean's online activity closely, tracking him across Discord, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and a number of lesser-known streaming platforms. On October 24th, 2024, after certain platforms had taken down his unlawful streams as a result of Nintendo's enforcement actions, he sent Nintendo a letter boasting that he has, quote, 1,000 burner channels to stream lawsuit against Kean. According to Nintendo...
Hold on. I hit a button on the microphone. Apparently, there's a lot of echo today.
Okay.
I'm trying to mess around.
Probably when you electrocuted the camera.
Oh, yeah. Remember when I did that?
Yeah.
I hit a button. We'll see if it works. I'm going to continue to mess around with stuff, but go on.
According to Nintendo, after his monetized YouTube channel was taken down, Kean started adding a Cash App handle to his streams, seeking donations from the audience. According to Nintendo, on October 17th, 2024, Kean also told the company that he will actively help people find newer and updated copies of Ryu Jinx and Yuzu. Two Switch emulators the company had taken down from GitHub this year after their creators were contacted by Nintendo. Kean also said that he was helping people play Nintendo Switch games on their PC with no need to buy Nintendo's hardware, according to the lawsuit. Love y'all. Capitalism is cancer. My channel is being deleted for sharing gameplay videos. This is your reward. Kean said in one of his in one of the public posts sharing links to those emulators. Of particular concern to Nintendo, it seems, is that Kean wasn't just streaming emulated pirated games, but that he was streaming Nintendo games before they were released. On at least 50 occasions in the past 2 years, the defendant has streamed gameplay footage of pirated copies of at least 10 different Nintendo games without authorization, all before those titles were released to the public, Nintendo said in the lawsuit. All of those streams were unauthorized and compromised Nintendo's legitimate pre-release marketing. They also promote and encourage downloading of pirated copies of unpublished games. Defendant streams often consist merely of him playing Nintendo's leaked games without commentary for expanded periods of time.
He's a kick streamer. Never mind. I take it all back. I think he deserved it. Move your mic like I did. Like point it.
Oh, angle it?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, just
okay.
Like that.
All right. As an example, Nintendo points to Kean's stream of Mario Luigi Brothership on YouTube and other platforms on October 22nd. Mario Luigi Brothership is one of Nintendo's biggest games of the year, and it was originally released on Thursday, November 7th. This writer can only find one active Every Game Guru account at the time of writing. It included archives of the previous streams, but not a stream of Brothership, which appears to have been removed. That channel only has 43 followers. A screenshot in the lawsuit of one of Keen's YouTube channels shows it had over 1,730 subscribers. Another screenshot in the lawsuit showed Keen's Kick channel shows it only had one viewer at one point in time. According to the lawsuit, Nintendo is seeking $150,000 per infringement of its copyright. Conservatively, going by Nintendo's claim that Keen streamed pirated gameplay footage on at least 50 occasions in the past 2 years, he's looking at $7.5 million.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Look, Nintendo has a right to defend their copyright, especially if you're releasing stuff about their stuff early. You're diminishing their you're diminishing the release of their games.
Yeah.
You know, it's their copyright. If they don't want information about the game coming out before date of release, I understand. Some people are gonna play the game early. He even, I think, was telling people where to get the games.
Yeah, that was the big thing. He was telling people where to get the emulators, where to get the games.
Yeah. Obviously, all of that is bad.
Mm-hmm.
But what you people need to understand is that in the fucking court document, right here at the bottom, as a direct and approximate result of defendant's violations, plaintiff is entitled to the maximum statutory damages pursuant to the amount of $2,500 with respect to each of circumvention, each act of circumvention, or such other amounts as made proper. So not just that he's telling people where to get the game, not just that he's streaming the copyrighted stuff early. The fact that he used circumvention to play the game is one of the things he's being charged for.
Right.
That is fucked. That is very, very bad.
Yeah.
You can sue him for releasing stuff early. You can sue him for distributing pirated material. That's all fine. But suing on the grounds of circumvention is very, very bad and sets a very bad precedent. That is why I'm upset. That is why I'm defending this clown, as somebody in the chat called him.
I mean, like, he is a clown.
He is a clown.
But sometimes clowns...
He's a kick streamer.
Yes, to be clear. If he just streamed himself driving a car really fast down the road and getting into an accident, it wouldn't have been a problem.
Listen, I would say he's one of the best YouTubers out there. If he did that.
Yeah, I think they're definitely using him to set an example. You know, to like threaten people not to do what he's doing.
It's because
he's so like flamboyant about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was very in their face. Like he refused to stop.
Yeah.
They tried to get him to stop without having to sue him, because somebody in the chat said he only gets like 14 viewers when he does this.
Yeah.
He was just an asshole about it.
Yeah.
But if they get away with this with language like that in the lawsuit, it only means bad things in the future. So, and everybody's going to be like, well, I don't stream games early, so it's not my problem. It will very quickly become your problem.
Yes, because what happens is, you know, down the road, if something were to happen and to your Switch and you need to make a backup copy of your game and you wanted to get it onto your PC, the only way you can do that is through quote unquote circumvention programs. And Nintendo, if they find out you do that, can go after you like they are going after this guy.
Yeah, so the Digital Millennium Copyright Act allows us to make backups of our games, just like we can make backups of CDs.
Yes.
Or music. However, there has been amendments to the Digital Millennium Copyright Act saying that we cannot circumvent copyright measures.
Yes.
And Nintendo is claiming that there are... I'm having a stroke. I have strokes very frequently when I talk about legal stuff.
Yeah.
Nintendo is claiming that there are there's a lock on Nintendo Switch games.
Yeah.
And by emulating them, you're circumventing the lock that's on it.
Yeah.
That hasn't really been directly competed against in court. So if they win a case like this, judges can just go back and be like, oh, someone else ruled that, that there is circumvention stuff. So, no. So the only thing that's keeping us able to back up our games is if we don't have to circumvent some copyright protection. That little piece in the Digital Millennium Copyright Act is kind of fucking everything up. And they're using that one little line of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act to infringe on our rights, is what I think. Again, he does not have the rights to stream the game early or distribute copyrighted material, but we should have the right to do whatever we want with our legally purchased stuff.
Exactly.
And this language is going to screw it up. You understand, everybody?
Yes.
You understand? Honestly, F this guy. If you're playing a new game early through piracy, then you deserve this lawsuit. You don't deserve that one line in the lawsuit, my guy. Everything else he deserves. Millions of dollars, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But that one line, dude, is going to fuck you up.
Yes. Because you got to remember, like, the way, these companies and the government thinks is, it may not affect you now, but it could affect you in the long run.
Nintendo's been taking and taking and taking.
Yeah.
They've been getting away with a lot, and nobody is stopping them from getting away with as much as they're getting away with. And that is directly infringing on our right to repair and stuff like that.
Just because you're not doing exactly what this guy is doing, if at some point down the road, someone were to, again, rip a copy of his game to his computer for his own personal use, that could that could land him in just as much trouble because the circumvention of copy protection is a part of this same lawsuit.
The circumvention of copy protection is right now a very big gray area that they are taking more of. It's leaning more towards them. Sui Kagura in the chat, I keep forgetting how to pronounce your name, says circumvention is when you have a key that is not yours, right? No. That's the thing. It's a gray area.
Yeah.
So it's anything that is considered copy protection. So even the fact that you're taking a Nintendo, in the case of a Nintendo Switch, it's the cryptographic key, which is locked to the game itself. And if you do anything with that cryptographic key, even if you just move it from the game to your PC, that is considered an infringement on their copy protection. Just doing that is illegal in their eyes. And if they win this one line in the lawsuit, it will become illegal in America. Thank you very much. Well, thank you for coming to my TEDx.
Not even an actual TED Talk. It's like one of the shitty TEDx's. Anyone can do that.
Worst thing that could happen is this guy tries to fight and loses and sets a case to cite in future. Yes. It's bad. I mean, he's not going to win.
Yeah.
let's make that clear. We'd have to have a really savvy judge that will see that one line and be like, I don't know if that part's the illegal part, but I don't think that's going to happen. Someone else said, I personally don't see how it's wrong that they are fighting against emulating games that they actively sell hardware for. That is not the issue.
Yeah.
The issue is infringing on our right to repair. There's nothing. Listen, you shouldn't pirate games, especially if those games are actively available.
Right.
If those games are in stores, you should not pirate. But piracy is not emulation. I'm emulating Echoes of Wisdom. That game just came out. I have the game. I bought it. I went out
with American money.
I went to the store and I said, "Here's my money," and then they gave me the game, and I have the game, and I put the game on another device. That is what Nintendo's telling me is illegal. Even though I took money, I gave it to a guy, and he gave me the game. The guy being a Best Buy employee,
right? Just
to make it clear, I didn't pay. It's just a random person,
the dude on the street with a trench coat.
So, and then that, we have plenty more articles about this shit today.
Yeah.
But let's say, for example, one day Nintendo shuts the servers down for their online service. Let's say, I don't know, the Wii U. Let's say they decide no more servers.
Yes.
You can't play the Wii U anymore. Well, there's people out there who are developing stuff so that you then can get that console back online. Nintendo would love for that to be illegal.
Yeah.
But there is provisions in the Digital Millennium Copyright Act that says if the servers go down, you can take all of your stuff and move it somewhere else and do whatever you want with it. That is awesome. That's a great protection, and that's what allows Pretendo to be perfectly legal. But if you can't get around circumvention stuff, how are you going to do that?
Yeah.
The line in the Digital Millennium Copyright is that you can go around circumvention measures if the servers are down.
Right.
Something like that. There's like a weird little line like that. But still, we have to wait for the servers to go down to get all of our shit working. Like, I swear, Bob, all the anti-emulator weirdos are only in your chat. It's so weird because I'm the emulator guy, right? Yeah. And I tweeted about this, and a lot of people were like, "No, fuck that guy." And it's like, okay, fuck the guy. I don't like the guy. I don't care about this guy. It's about the precedent that it's gonna set, dude. God damn, I'm sweating. I don't like it. Crin Nagar, thanks for the Prime. Rockin' Val, thanks for the 66 months. Oh my god. What did I come into? Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Productivity. Thanks for the Prime. I'm going to throw up. Guys, shirts over at WULFFDENapparel.com. Look at them. Look at it.
And over here too, me, hi, Ivan too. Hi, look at me. Every camera on me. Hey, look at it's a Will.
It's a Will.
Yeah, it's me.
And also cups.
Yeah.
We got a little one and a big one.
Yeah.
Oh god. Anyway, more lawsuits still, though.
Yeah.
We're not even done. There's one more Nintendo lawsuit.
Yes.
At least that happened in the past week.
Yep. And, well, it's happened a while ago, but now we have details.
Information.
Yes. We have details on Nintendo suing Pocket Pair over Palworld. Now we know why. It's over their balls. The Pokemon Company and Nintendo are suing Palworld developer Pocket Pair for 10 million yen, roughly the equivalent of $65,600, and late payment damages, according to a statement released by Pocket Pair on Friday. The lawsuit targets 3 patents that cover gameplay where players ride Pokemon and throw Pokeballs. The Pokemon Company and Nintendo formally filed a suit against Pocket Pair last September. At the time, the press release from the two companies said that they were seeking an injunction and compensation on the grounds that Pocket Pair infringes of multiple patent rights. But the companies did not clarify how much they were seeking in damages. On Friday, Pocket Pair provided the public with a current status of the case. According to this new update from Pocket Pair, the Pokemon co-owners claim that Palworld infringes on 3 patents held by the Pokemon Company and Nintendo, and that the two companies are seeking an injunction against the game and compensation for a portion of the damages incurred between the date of the registration of the patents and the date of the filing of this lawsuit. The Palworld developers said that the lawsuit targets 3 patents in particular. Patent number 7545191, patent number 7493117, and patent number 7528390. There will be a test. So far, a lot of popular conversation is focused on the design similarities between the creatures known as pals and Pokemon. However, the Pokemon Company and Nintendo aren't suing for copyright infringement. The lawsuit focuses on gameplay central to the, certain Pokemon games. These 3 patents involve a specific gameplay around riding Pokemon and catching Pokemon with a Pokeball. Pocket Pair did not provide additional context for the nature of the injunction. Injunctions are typically used to restrain a company from continuing harm. In this case, it would be continuing to infringe on Pokemon Company and Nintendo's patents. Palworld has maintained service and launched the game on new platforms since the lawsuit was filed in September, however. Pocket Pair released Palworld in early 2024. The game has become an instant hit, selling over 12 million copies on Steam and garnering more than 7 million players on Xbox. However, people online criticize the game for appearing to copy creatures and concepts from Pokemon games, and claim that the developers stole designs from the Pokemon franchise to create certain PAL creatures. As for what will happen next, Pocket Pair says it will continue to assert our position in this case through future legal proceedings.
Now, that's been the question.
Yes. We speculated it might have been the specific act of throwing a ball to catch your creature, because that's a very specific Pokemon thing.
So, I saw
at the top, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
My mic was off that whole time. That's nothing. That's they're suing for $65,000, which is nothing.
Right.
Compared to how much Palworld sold.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also apparently suing so that they can't sell the game anymore.
Yeah.
They're suing so that to stop the game.
Yeah.
So even though they're suing for barely any money, I mean, considering, $65,000, I would love $65,000.
Yeah.
But
give me $65,000.
they sold how many millions of copies of Palworld? Like it was a huge
12
game.
million copies sold on Steam and 7 million players on Xbox.
Yeah. So that's a lot. And they're just trying to stop Palworld from existence. Who didn't see this coming?
It's a murky gray area because like there's a lot of like you can't like legally sue somebody over game design technically, because if that was the case, like id Software would be suing everybody left and right over Doom. But
you could patent.
That's the thing.
Gameplay elements.
Nintendo has patented gameplay elements, specifically the act of picking up a ball and throwing it at a creature in order to capture it.
Yeah, here's a dude gripping his ball.
Yeah.
Isn't this what we looked at? Didn't we?
We didn't look at these. We speculated it might have been because of this.
Yeah, I remember seeing this.
I have never seen these before in my life.
Remember, it was like the act of throwing a ball in a field to catch a creature.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if you close your eyes and think about that, it's fucking Pokemon.
Right.
So, I don't like the idea of being able to sue somebody over a gameplay element because that stifles innovation.
Yeah.
But the game is clearly a Pokemon knockoff.
I mean, I feel like, the throwing of a ball to catch your creature, like, yeah, that's a Pokemon thing, but like I feel like you can like fudge that and like look past that. I'm genuinely surprised they're not going after Pocket Pair for literally ripping off the design of their creatures for the pals.
They just figured
it's so much obvious. It's so much more obvious that like the pals look exactly like Pokemon.
They just figured that would be a harder fight to have. And if they lose that one, then they wouldn't be able to go after them for other things.
I guess.
So they figured that this was the easiest one to get them on.
Because they can prove that they own
Yeah.
the patents like legally.
Yeah.
You know?
And they're not asking for much in terms of monetary value, but they are asking stop making the game.
Stop making the game. They also are asking for like late payment fees. So, I mean, who knows how much that could be?
So what does that mean? Does that mean that they
probably wanted the money
back
like
pay?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That fucking sucks.
Yeah.
This is of course a Japanese lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows how things go over there.
Yeah.
They have very strict copyright laws over there. So they're probably screwed. Again, I don't like how nefarious Nintendo's been with their lawsuit. And I don't like the specific ways that they can go about lawsuits like this, like using a patent on a gameplay element that's so broad. But if it wasn't that, they would say, hey, this looks like Lucario, because it looks like fucking Lucario.
Yeah.
They're after precedent with those patents. However, the mechanic existed long before they patented it. So those are questionable patents at best. It existed though because of them. They made the gameplay mechanic. It's just that they patented it like 2 decades late.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's, as far as we know, that's what Nintendo's been up to.
Yeah.
At least their legal team, they've been working overtime. But it's just they're too powerful.
Yeah.
They're too powerful.
Yeah. No,
you're right. It's scary. It's scary because there's no end in sight.
I mean, they're going after YouTubers. They're going after, independent developers. They're going after bigger name developers, All for what? To what end? They don't need any more money. They're the only video game company that's like successful right now.
Yeah, that's making money.
So
apparently we still have echo issues. I don't know.
All right. Well,
I must have broken something when I shocked everything.
Yeah.
It's just that season. I'm trying to talk a little quietly and directly into the mic so that because when I get loud, I get picked up on your mic. That's the problem. All right. Anyway, one more lawsuit thing. Where did it go? It was Ubisoft.
Yes.
Oh, there it is.
Towards the bottom.
I'm moving it.
Okay.
Let's do one more lawsuit thing. This is actually a good thing.
Yes.
And it's not Nintendo, it's Ubisoft.
Yes. Because nobody actually likes Ubisoft.
It's crazy that like Nintendo's getting away with murder and fucking Ubisoft is catching a stray.
Yeah. Ubisoft is sued for shutting down The Crew. 2 Californian gamers are suing Ubisoft in a proposed class action lawsuit over the developer and publisher's recent shutdown of the racing game The Crew. Ubisoft released The Crew in December 2014 and shut down its servers after a decade due to server infrastructure and licensing constraints. After the server shut down, the game became totally unplayable due to its lack of a single-player offline mode. When the shutdown was announced on December 14th, 2023, Ubisoft did offer refunds to people who recently purchased The Crew, but given the age of the game, a lot of players were unable to participate in the offer. Imagine you buy a pinball machine and then years later you enter your den to go to play it only to discover that the paddles are missing. The pinball and bumpers are gone and the monitor that proudly displayed your unassailable high score is removed. Lawyers wrote in the lawsuit, which was filed on November 4th in a California court and reviewed by Polygon.
I love this imagery because it dumbs it down so much for old people who might have to...
I mean, like, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
You got to do.
Yeah.
Turns out the pinball manufacturer decided to come into your home, gut the insides of the pinball machine, and remove your ability to play the game that you bought and thought you owned. Also, he kicked your dog. That they didn't put that in the article, but it says that there. The lawsuit alleges that this is exactly what happened when Ubisoft shut down the Crew servers in 2024, suddenly leaving customers unable to access something that they had purchased and assumed they owned. The lawsuit says players were duped in 2 ways. First, by allegedly misleading players into thinking they were buying a game when they were merely licensing it, even if a player bought a physical disc. Second, that Ubisoft falsely represented that the Crew's files were on its physical discs to access freely and that the discs weren't simply a key for the game. Ubisoft is violating California's consumer protections laws, the lawsuit alleges. Both plaintiffs purchased the game well into its lifespan in 2018 and 2020, respectively, on physical discs. The lawsuit says neither would have purchased the game on the same terms, i.e. price, knowing the game's servers would be shut down, rendering the Crew totally unplayable even in an offline mode. The lawsuit also covers the backlash to Ubisoft's decision to shut down servers and not include an offline version of the game. It cites several games that turned servers off but patched in an offline option like Knockout City and 2 of Ubisoft's own games, Assassin's Creed 2 and 3. Ubisoft responded to the criticism and vowed to include offline versions of its existing games in the Crew franchise, like the Crew 2 and the Crew Motorfest, but the lawsuit says this does nothing to amend the problem of the Crew's server shutdown. The plaintiffs are looking for the court to approve the lawsuit as a class action, meaning that other Crew players may get involved. They are looking for monetary relief and damages for those impacted by the server shutdown. The lawsuit follows a campaign from YouTuber Ross Scott to urge companies to stop killing games, a movement that kicked off after the Crew announcement was made. The Stop Killing Games movement is petitioning the European Union to force game companies to keep games in playable states. It currently has more than 379,000 signatures. As media continues to go more and more digital, the issue of owning versus licensing, especially in video games, becomes more of a problem. While some people are taking games into their own hands, like with the player created The Crew Unlimited, the onus is largely on companies and what they do to preserve their games and servers. But in California, Governor Gavin Newsom recently signed a bill into law that requires companies to tell consumers they're buying licenses, not games themselves, in online storefronts. The law itself, introduced by California Assemblywoman Jackie Irwin, is actually partially inspired by Ubisoft's shutdown of The Crew. The law, however, doesn't do anything about the fact that games are licensed and not purchased outright, nor does it stop a company from rendering a game unplayable, but it does, in theory, offer transparency on the issue. Ubisoft declined to comment. Update: we've updated the story to note that Ubisoft declined to comment.
Okay. So we talked about this a few months ago as well. This is that YouTuber made a video.
Yes.
He was saying that he was petitioning for people to make a big stink in France because he thought we had the best chance of fighting Ubisoft in France.
Right.
So for the TikTok audience, to summarize,
France is a country in Europe.
Ubisoft sued for shutting down The Crew. This is a racing game that came out a long time ago. They shut down the servers and people are pissed. And there's no way to make custom servers. So a YouTuber, what's his name?
Ross Scott,
told everybody to make a big stink in France because they thought that was they had good copyright laws.
Because they have good
consumer protection.
They have good consumer protection. Also, Ubisoft is based in France.
True. So they thought that was the best chance of fighting them was in France. Turns out California, they got pretty decent consumer protection laws. So they're suing there. And also California recently did that thing you literally just read in the article.
They now require companies to specifically list if they are buying a license instead of buying the products outright when it comes to digital goods. So basically people bought The Crew thinking that they could play it, and then the game was ripped out from under them. The servers shut down, and the game is completely unplayable without those servers. And this is why we need protections when we have to be able to circumvent copy protection. Because if you're gonna rip the game out from under us otherwise we have to wait till they turn the servers off and then start developing our own servers for the stuff that we just purchased on our own. Unfortunately, one of the side effects of this is going to be that instead of companies keeping the servers on or giving players the tools to have private servers, instead of that, companies are just going to slap on the box, this is a license, not an actual game. Unfortunately, that's going to be the side effect of this. You already see Steam doing it. And like the intent was like they do that and like it lets people like understand that like they could take the game away at any point in time. But that still leaves the threat of the game being taken away at any point in time.
I mean, it's just like California slapping on everything. Hey, this might contain lead. It's like, all right, well then if everything contains lead, then I'm not going to read that. I'm not going to care that everything's going to kill me. So if everything is a license, then none of it matters. Basically. What's closest to this in my world is Pretendo. Wii U got shut down, so a bunch of people made their own online service called Pretendo, and it basically puts the Wii U back up online, baby. So all those games that you had, you can keep playing them, and that's great. That's something that we need. A lot of companies usually, I shouldn't say a lot of companies. There are companies that will turn on private servers or like you could have a server in your home, like Quake. You can make your own Quake server and host them yourself. Halo did that. Halo, what was it, Halo 2? They were shutting it down. They were like, you can just have private servers if you want. And or is it, should I be saying public servers?
No, private server.
You can have a server in your house. You can have your original Xbox plugged in with the Ethernet cable, and someone can play. People can find your console and play it that way. That's the way to end the life of a game. Is to let people do whatever they need to with it. But unfortunately, companies aren't mandated to do that, so they're just not gonna do that. So this is a case where people thought they were buying the crew and they weren't. The game doesn't work. So they're being reprimanded for that. And I think that's... I hate that everything needs to be fought with a lawsuit. I wish they could just put a little law in writing saying that, these things have to happen.
I mean, unfortunately, you can't... Sometimes, you have to have a lawsuit in order to get, a law passed or made, or, just at the very least, a precedent set to show, you can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I definitely feel like they're going after the crew specifically, because they could have gone after Overwatch or something, but they're going after the crew, definitely piggybacking on Ross Scott's movement. But look, if the crew has to be the sacrificial goat, then the crew is going to be the sacrificial goat.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who genuinely cares about the crew, but
I mean, you could also do it to Concord. Concord's being sold still, and that
Concord,
isn't on.
I read somewhere that Concord was apparently the biggest failure in any entertainment media.
I believe it,
and
video games are inflated, the amount of money that it takes to make them.
The fact that it's not being reported on the same way Joker was a massive failure, or a Marvel movie fails, that's saying a lot. How much Sony is just sweeping that under the rug.
Yeah. It's bad for us consumers when they release something and they give you a physical product and it's not actually on that disc. You're beholden to their servers and stuff. And once they take those servers away, you don't have the game anymore. These games aren't forever anymore. And they could be. They could be, because they could give it over to the fans and then they could do it.
Yeah.
The crew has player created the crew unlimited, just like Pretendo. People basically flip the servers back on, and they're allowed to do that thanks to the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. And why these laws are so important? God damn, I'm gonna be shoving it down your throat. This is not the end of it. Go to youtube.com/WULFF DEN Podcast for more legal ramblings from a guy who's never studied law in his life.
Well, this is not legal advice. Disclaimer.
This is not legal.
We are not.
I don't think
I
have to say that because I'm not a lawyer. I think if you are a lawyer, you have to say that.
I think you do still have to say it. Because you don't want somebody to act upon this advice.
But I don't think I can be held accountable unless I am a lawyer, because you can get your bar certificate removed if you're giving advice. I don't fucking have one.
Yeah.
So
we should consult on that? A lawyer.
Hey, that's maybe. Yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about, and I can get sued.
Don't all you YouTubers know each other? Can't you email Legal Eagle or something and have him tell you?
I always see Reddit threads of people are like, just get a lawyer. It's so hard to just get a lawyer, and it's so expensive.
What money?
Yeah. Anyway, Daniel Dueling next for the $5. Emulator, I hardly know her. Jesus Christ. Okay, Bomb, thanks for the Prime. And that's it. All right, moving along here. Backlog! 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 Hey everybody, Backlog time. How you doing? Good to see you. It's us. Welcome to the Backlog.
Yeah, the Backlog is a segment of the WULFF DEN Podcast where we go through our entire video game collection. Every game we've ever bought has been put into an Excel spreadsheet. And today we're going to pick a game at random and talk about it regardless of whether or not we've played it. 973 games, Robert.
Okay.
Which game is it going to be?
196.
196. That would be... that's a follow-up from last week. It's Uncharted Fortune Hunter for the iPhone.
What the hell?
And we mentioned it last week when we were talking about Golden Abyss.
We did. I remember this. Nathan Drake looks terrible.
It's definitely trying to go for
Fortnite.
When did it come out? It might have been before Fortnite.
These gameplays are from 8 years ago.
Uncharted Fortune Hunter is an action. It's a free-to-play puzzle platformer video game developed by PlayStation Mobile Inc. with the help of Naughty Dog and published by Sony Computer computer entertainment for the iOS and Android mobile devices. It was a spin-off from Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, released in 2016. The year of Batman vs. Superman.
So you claimed last week that you kind of like this game.
I did kind of like this game. You know why? Because it was it's not like the deepest game in the world. It's not like, a very complex game. It's a perfect mobile game in that it is a good pick up and play time waster.
Yeah.
I was around this time, I actually was going to the city a lot and I needed something to do on the train, and this is a good train game because it didn't require an always online connection.
That's rare.
You take it out and you just do the puzzles. You just go through the maze, get the treasure, and then escape.
Is this the only offshoot Uncharted game? Because there's the one we talked about last week, which was
Golden Abyss for the Vita. Yeah.
And then there's this.
Yeah, I believe. Well, this is, as far as I know, the only. No, this is not. There's a lot more.
Really?
There's Fight for Fortune, which I remember being a big deal. That was a card game for the Vita, which I didn't play.
There was a card game?
There was a card game for the Vita, yeah. I remember Fight for Fortune.
I didn't know there were that many Vita games.
Yeah.
But there was just one.
Many people don't know. There's Drake's Trail, which was a browser game.
People in the chat are saying this looks like Lara Croft Go.
Yes, so that was another thing. This was hot off the heels of Square Enix doing their Go games, their Hitman Go, Lara Croft Go, and Deus Ex Go. This is not as good as those, to be clear, because those games actually had complexity and more advanced puzzle solving. This everything's on screen at once, so you can see where you can see the treasure and you can map things out fairly easily. Not that it was easy, but it was definitely less complex and interesting than Lara Croft Go.
This was developed by PlayStation Mobile.
Yes.
So PlayStation themselves developed it. That's interesting. I like a good mobile game. This looks like something I would have played if I knew about it.
Yeah.
Probably not anymore. I've been playing a fuck ton of Balatro on my phone.
Well, speaking of games you can't get anymore, this has been delisted. And even if it is, I believe, do I still have it on my phone? Sure.
So if it's delisted, you could still download it if you owned it previously, right?
But I don't think it's playable.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why would that be?
I don't know. Let's see.
It's probably cloud storage now. Around the time this came out, I was playing Monument Valley, and this is sort of like a very similar puzzle game.
Yeah.
We might have even had a backlog episode about that.
We
notably took a lot of iPhone games off of our backlog list.
Yeah, mainly because a lot of them were just downloaded for the sake of downloading, and we maybe done one or two seconds in there.
Yeah.
Nothing really substantial to talk about.
But this you played a
this I played a significant amount of. Yeah, and enjoyed myself while playing them.
Pinology says a lot of delisted games go dark because they don't update along with OS updates.
That's sense. True too.
And this game's old.
Yeah, I don't know when did they stop updating this. According to the Wikipedia, they stopped updating it in 2016.
Damn.
They released a couple of updates and then that was it.
Oh, so it was right after it came out.
Yeah.
It must not have been very popular. All right. Well, you can't play it anymore.
Yeah.
So this is why archiving stuff needs better protections in our legal system.
Yes. And as far as I know, in terms of iOS emulation, it's very hit and miss. It's very hard to do. Not many games are supported on it because every game runs differently. It's almost like the N64. You have to do it a case by case basis. And the iPhone App Store has thousands and thousands of games. So doing it for everyone is going to be impossible.
It should be relatively easy if it's an Android game, but this is
true.
Not.
No, it is.
Oh, it is?
It was on Android, yeah.
Oh. APK. You can find it.
There you go.
You can find it. But that should be something that's on archive.org or something.
Yeah.
Or some sort of online library where you can go back and play these pieces of history that once existed.
Yeah, especially because Sony wasn't really doing a lot of this stuff. You know, they weren't really doing a lot of spin-offs to their like main games on like iOS and Android. So like this is the only one that like really got a decent quality spin-off to it.
Yeah.
So, you know, and this was around the time when like, you know, 2016, everyone was like, Nintendo should just put their games on mobile. Nintendo should just put their games on mobile. They're a dead company if they don't do that. Mobile is the future. Mobile is the way to go. And Sony's over here like, hey, we're doing it. Look at this. They got a fortune hunter.
Also, Nintendo did, and then nobody cared.
Yeah.
I think Mario Kart Tour people play a lot.
Yeah.
And you know what? Mario Run sold a decent amount, but it fizzled out pretty
It sold
quick.
a decent amount, but yeah, like you said, it fizzled out because I think Nintendo didn't understand the ecosystem.
And we're not talking about Pokemon.
No.
Pokemon,
That's
they're
its own
extremely
thing. Yeah.
successful on mobile. Thanks for watching the Backlog. Tune in for a podcast every once in a while. You know, check out Will's shirt. He's got a podcast. Oh, okay, it's me now.
Yeah.
I got a podcast shirt. Wow.
And who knows? Maybe next week we won't talk about an Uncharted game, or we'll talk about one of the popular ones.
Yeah, we've run out of bad Uncharted games. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Now there's a white Steam Deck. Oh God. Oh lordy. Oh, you're looking at my notes. Valve announces limited edition white Steam Deck. Oh, look at it in all of its glory.
This new version of the handheld PC launches on November 18th, but if you want one, be warned, only a limited number will be available. And once they're out, they're out. That's according to Valve. Last year, we released the Smoky Translucent Limited Edition Steam Deck OLED as an experiment to find out if there is any interest in alternative colorways. There was. What a shock! This is our second experiment along those lines, Valve explained, sharing a look at the upcoming Steam Deck. The difference this time, aside from the color, is that we're able to ship the limited edition white to all regions where the Steam Deck already ships, the company continued. We're curious to see what the response is, and we'll use what we learn to inform future decisions about any potential new color variants down the line. Valve said it has been super happy with the reception of the Steam Deck since the team first launched the LCD version in 2022. We've always said our intent is to continually work on improving the Steam Deck. And that's true from both the software perspective, continuing to ship improvements, and the hardware one, Steam Deck OLED, as well as ongoing work towards a future Steam Deck and other hardware plans. Steam Deck White OLED features all the same specs as the Steam Deck OLED 1 terabyte model.
We don't. It's a limited edition Steam Deck, 1 terabyte. It's going to be $679, I think.
Yes,
which is the same price that the last limited edition was. I liked the last limited edition so much that I bought it myself.
Yes.
They sent me the mid-range Steam Deck, and then I was like, I need to get that limited edition one. That one's sick. So I got the limited edition one. This one's awesome.
This one does look nice. Yes,
it looks nice. I don't know what the white's going to be like over time. I'd imagine it will probably be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I did notice it kind of reminds me of the Logitech G Cloud, which is also all white. The buttons are gray.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some accents. This one, the G Cloud has yellow accents. This has a orange accent, just like the limited edition one. Although
one orange accent.
Yeah, I don't think it has orange accents on the fan cover.
No.
But yeah, I think this looks really, really cool. Now, I'm pretty sure the limited edition Steam Deck, the last one that came out, it was available for a few days, I think. Like, I don't think it immediately sold out.
Yeah.
So, and I think it went back up after a while. Like, it went down and then back up. So, this is pretty long into the OLED's life cycle. So, I bet you this one might not be that hard to get.
Yeah.
So, if you don't have a Steam Deck and you're interested in one, this is a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one to get. It is the 1 terabyte model, so it's going to be the most expensive model, but
honestly, the pricing that they have isn't that terrible. Like, it's very easy to put your own SSD into a Steam Deck.
Yes.
But 1 terabyte is really all you need.
Yeah.
And it has an SD card, a micro SD card slot, so you can put all your ROMs and stuff on that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're worried about having like a big ROM library. Also, a lot of games are just fine running off of the micro SD card.
Yeah.
But I believe this has the matte glass. A lot of people don't like the matte glass. I really like the matte glass. I think getting rid of glare from lights is more important than any of the black levels that you're losing. Some people say it's not a deep enough black, but I don't really see that. So this is cool. If you're interested in Steam Deck, this is definitely one that you should look out for. When is it?
November 18th.
Okay. A week.
Yeah.
Ish. Do they sell these in waves? I'm pretty sure last time it went down and then back up.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Just keep your eyes open on the Steam Deck website.
Also, I'd imagine months from now, maybe even next year, there'll be another one.
Well, they said they're like experimenting with like releasing different colored versions, and like they were surprised by the reaction that like, oh, people liked different color versions of their video game systems. Oh, who would have thought that, you know, making the same thing in a different color would make people excited. Oh, it's not like Nintendo doesn't release multiple colored versions of their systems. Oh, it's not like Microsoft farts out a different color controller every week.
The difference here is that, well, I'm thinking about analog. They've released a million different versions of the Analog Pocket. The difference here is that you can just buy a Steam Deck.
Yeah.
The Analog Pocket, you can't just go buy one. Although I think now you can.
Yeah.
So, that's that. Next news, Microsoft's new emulator could bring more games to ARM. Calm yourselves down. Emulate this is a computer emulator.
Yeah.
This is not as fun as a game emulator. But
there's potential. Microsoft is testing a big Windows on ARM update to let more x64 software and games run under Prism emulation on Copilot Plus PCs with Qualcomm Snapdragon X Elite or X Plus processors. The compatibility comes as part of Windows 11 Insider build preview build 27744, rolling out to testers in the Canary channel. This way, Qualcomm's new chips can run more kinds of apps that don't run native on ARM64 versions and, until now, were usable with emulation. This could even enable games that use AVX2, like Starfield and Helldivers 2, to work on Windows on ARM. With this update, Microsoft's emulator will open up support for 64-bit x86 software to use processor extensions like AVX, AVX2, BMI, FMA, and F16C. There will be a test. However, it says 32-bit software still won't be able to detect the new emulator support, so some programs might still have trouble. While many apps, including Photoshop, Hulu, and Chrome, already have native ARM64 versions for Windows, others require emulation, and some still won't work at all. According to Microsoft, the new emulator is already enabled in limited use on retail PCs, allowing Premiere Pro 25 to run on ARM after it was initially blocked, while Adobe works on a native version.
So this is extremely similar to when Apple went to M1.
Yes. It's basically the same thing.
It's the same thing. Yeah. And Adobe apps, a lot, like only like 2 of them, I think, worked immediately, and the rest of them needed to be emulated.
Yeah.
Apple used what they called Rosetta. They had their own sort of emulation thing, and it worked very good.
Yeah.
And Adobe almost immediately got M1 working out for them.
Yeah.
Now I've been using it forever, and it's been awesome.
Yeah.
Premiere is still a piece of shit,
yeah.
but it's
a working piece of shit.
It's a working piece of shit, and it's amazing what it's able to do on a laptop.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested in this because what Apple was able to do with the M1 chips is extraordinary and has a lot of potential for power in video games.
Yeah.
But nobody develops for Mac. Yeah. So that is just never going to happen. Doing it on Windows has a lot of potential that might actually get used.
Yes.
And I'm very excited about that.
And I think also, too, you know, this could, because like ARM chips are more power efficient chips. and they're getting much more powerful, like matching like desktop processors. And I think by being able to emulate Windows programs better on ARM opens up the possibility of like more power efficient, possibly even cheaper Windows gaming handhelds.
Yeah.
You know, so I think this is a good thing that we should be keeping our eyes on. And hopefully, like, you know, the emulator is a good first step, but like they can use the data from that, like seeing how many people actually like play games on ARM and like use that to make games run native on ARM.
Yeah, so unfortunately, it would be impossible to translate everything to ARM. Like for each one of these developers to develop an ARM version of the game. So having an emulator do it for you is the easiest way to go, unfortunately. And you know what? It worked. Rosetta worked great on Mac. So there's a lot of potential here for this to work really well. And the biggest benefit of stuff like this, of ARM, is the increased battery life. This fucking MacBook gets like 18 hours of battery life. And the new Windows computers do the same. It's like 18, 20 hours of battery life. So imagine that in a gaming handheld. Imagine a game, because right now gaming handhelds are 1 hour. If that. Imagine if you had it on ARM, you could maybe get 2, 3. So, I mean, also, you know, I think there's space in the PC handheld world for something that's a little low powered. Like I don't need to be playing fucking Cyberpunk on my PC handheld. Like I would love a little PC handheld that could play, you know, all my little indie games. I have one. It's the Ein Loki, and it's just not very good. So having like an ARM one that's like nice and tiny would be really cool. But also on top of that, I think ARM does have potential to actually play like powerful shit. They're talking about Starfield Helldivers 2 in this article. So this is awesome. And I think we're way away from this being usable. But or at least in a handheld form factor. For desktops, I bet you very soon we'll start to see games play pretty good. Mac has like a metal translation layer that they talked about like 2 years ago or something, and developers are saying that was amazing, but no one's using it because it's Apple. So who knows? Maybe you'll see me start using Windows laptop with ARM, because I'm very interested to see the game implications for that. Moving on to, where am I? Sega. Oh no, Sega. Sega, you've been pretty good at making your old stuff available.
Not anymore. Sega is set to delist over 60 of its vintage games from Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. The wave of removals will impact numerous well-loved titles from the Dreamcast, Genesis, and Saturn console eras. These include the best-selling driving simulator Crazy Taxi, Sega's Bass Fishing, award-winning platformer Jet Set Radio, and action-adventure game Shinobi. Gamers will have until December 6th at midnight Pacific time to buy the titles before they are taken down. Customers who have already purchased them will still be able to download and play the games.
Which Shinobi? So they're getting rid of...
So if... At the top of the article, there's a link, and it'll actually tell you what games they're taking down.
Okay. So they're getting rid of Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi because they're making new versions of those games.
I guess
is what I would assume.
Yeah.
They are making a new version of Shinobi, but it's Shinobi 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja. Oh, I guess they're getting rid of the Sega Genesis Classics collection.
So here's the thing. On Switch and PlayStation, they're just getting rid of the Sega Genesis Classics collection, which is a collection of 30 Genesis games in one bundle.
So this website, the Sega, this is a Sega official website that's telling you all of the games that they're delisting. they list out the Genesis Classics bundle, and then each game is a different game on here.
Steam and Xbox, you can buy those games individually.
Oh, okay.
Because on Xbox, a lot of those games are 360 games that are still playable.
Okay,
yeah,
I understand.
That's what it is.
Because I was confused, because I was like, can't you only get Shinobi through the Classics collection?
Yeah. No, it's on
Okay.
on Steam and Xbox, you can get them individually.
And of course, Sega Bass Fishing. Oh, the horror.
Yeah.
No, I can't give that up. This sucks because I don't like that they're getting rid of old games.
Yeah.
I want those to be available in any way possible. Also, Sega Genesis Classics Collection is such a great way to scrape ROMs. You buy the game on Steam and all of the ROMs are there on your computer. You could take that and put it on any emulator you want. It's one of the best legal ways to purchase ROMs and then do whatever you want with those ROMs. And they're getting rid of the ability to do that. There's still other games that they have that have you can scrape ROMs from.
Yeah.
But this is incredibly disappointing. And more importantly, it removes one of the ways to play these games they were originally intended to be played back in the 90s.
Because I know they're remaking like Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio, but like those are going to be different games from what was originally made.
Like imagine when the 3DS Shinobi came out, if they just deleted Shinobi 3 from the face of the earth and they're like, this is the one you have to play now. Because that game is not nearly anywhere as good as the old one. So this is bad.
Yeah.
Don't like this at all.
Not good.
No, sir, I don't like it.
Bad move, Sega. Why you lost the console war. Tim Walls lost the election and then immediately loses Crazy Taxi 2.
Yeah, then immediately he can't.
What's the matter with you people?
Playing it on Steam.
That man has suffered enough. He's suffered enough.
He was playing the PC version on Steam.
I know.
Poor man. And now that's got. Imagine he got hooked on it. He's like, now I got all this time. What am I going to do? And then he fucking can't play it. So December 6th, they're doing this. When does the new Crazy Taxi come out?
That doesn't have a date.
Yeah. I haven't really seen much about
it.
So that sucks. Okay. Any more bad news?
I don't know if this is bad news, but like I find it to be weird news.
Okay.
Xbox 360 players say they're having problems connecting online. A number of Xbox 360 players say they're unable to connect to Xbox Live. Specifically, players are saying the app password feature is currently not working, effectively locking them out of any online features. When Microsoft added the ability to add two-factor authentication to Microsoft account logins, this initially provided an issue for 360 consoles, which didn't support it. The solution has been app passwords, which require the player to sign in their Microsoft account on another device and request a randomly generated password. By entering this as their password instead of signing into the 360, this counts as a separate form of two-factor identification and the user is logged in. This method has been relatively problem-free since it was initially introduced, but players started reporting last month that it no longer worked and the issue appears to have returned again. Now, when attempting to log in with an app password, players are instead given an 8015D000 or 8015D086 error code. Video Game Chronicles has attempted this and can verify the same is happening on their retail Xbox 360, leaving them unable to connect to Xbox Live. The Xbox 360 marketplace closed back in July, but this only affected the ability to buy new digital 360 games and DLC. Players have still been able to connect to Xbox Live, but as long as this issue remains, they won't be able to connect to games online or access and re-download their previous digital purchases. A number of threads on the Xbox support Reddit referred to this issue, including one post a month ago when the issue initially appeared, which now has over 400 replies.
It appears the issue has been resolved. New posts in the same thread confirm it has returned.
Yeah.
So, this is just, it's old hardware that's not really being updated much, and one of its services went down, which happens to be the way you log into it.
Yeah.
and that's bad. It seems like they fixed it, but
it looks like the problem is still there. And someone took a screenshot of their DM with Xbox support and saying that they know it's an issue and that they are working on it.
Yeah. So this is what happens with old stuff.
Yeah.
The good news is that it doesn't look like they're shutting it down. It just looks like this was a big mistake. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, not really a priority because it's Xbox 360. Not, yeah. So, hey, you know what? It's just like it was on the Xbox 360. Every once in a while, you just don't get to play it.
Yeah.
So, it's in my opinion, this is an authentic experience.
No, because the authentic experience would be if your Xbox just like overheated and stopped working. This is like
broke completely.
Yes, this is an online service issue, which wasn't really a big deal back then.
No, it was for Sony.
Yes,
theirs would go down for days at a time.
Yes, especially if it got hacked.
Microsoft's would go down for like an hour or two.
Yeah,
and that's it. So sad you can't play your Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Take-Two sells Private Division. What does that even mean?
You don't remember?
Is that the name?
That's the name of their like indie game label.
I thought it was a private division of their company.
Take-Two Interactive has confirmed the sale of Private Division for an undisclosed sum as it drops the indie-focused publishing label to focus on larger projects. In a statement alongside the publisher's latest financial results, the company confirmed another party has acquired not only the Private Division label, but also all of its live and unreleased titles. Ugh. Gassy. Take-Two will continue to support Moon Studios' action RPG No Rest for the Wicked, which launched in early access on PC in April. The publisher has not disclosed the buyer that now owns Private Division, but CEO Strauss Zelnick told GameIndustry.biz that it will do so relatively soon. Reports that Take-Two was planning to close or sell Private Division first emerged in June, shortly after the news that it had reportedly shut down Roll 7 and Intercept Games, as well as laid off a number of staff. Private Division also reportedly dropped its publishing deal with Silent Hill 2 remake developer Blooper Team. When asked why the company has sold off the label and why it struggled, Zelnick told GameIndustry.biz that it was part of a larger plan to focus on the publisher's strengths in AAA and mobile. We made this strategic decision so we could focus all of our resources on growing our core and mobile businesses for the long term, the CEO said. We're really best at these big AAA experiences. We have the biggest intellectual properties in the interactive entertainment business, some of the biggest intellectual properties in the overall entertainment business, and to make sequels to existing beloved franchises as well as to create new hit intellectual properties is our mission. The team of Private Division did a great job supporting independent developers, and almost 201, every project they supported did well. However, the scale of those projects was, candidly, on the smaller side, and we're in the business of making great big hits. There was confusion as to whether the aforementioned studios had actually been shut down, with Zelnick claiming neither studio had technically been closed, although a WARN notice indicated that Intercept was due to close its doors in July following widespread layoffs at the studio. Take-Two spokesperson has now confirmed to GameIndustry.biz that both studios were closed prior to the sale of Private Division. The changes and layoffs to Private Division followed Take-Two's announcement back in April that it would be laying off 5% of all staff as part of the publisher's third cost reduction program in over a year.
It sucks because they made a lot of good games.
Yes.
And they weren't like unsuccessful. These were good games that sold a lot. He said
that every game was successful more or less.
Yeah, they had a lot of great stuff.
It sucks because in an ideal world, this should not have been an issue. Yeah. You focus on the AAA games, but you use the profits from the AAA games to fund these smaller games to let people express their creativity and their artsy side, and also to just have different varied products out in the world. But by putting all your eggs in the AAA basket, that's an unsustainable business strategy, because not every game is going to make GTA 5 money.
Yeah, and these smaller games are what are unique and interesting, and you make a lot of these passion project games, and developers love doing it because it
keeps morale up.
It gives them something to be creative about while they're working on, the boring AAA stuff.
Yeah.
And then these smaller games that cost less, every once in a while you get one that fosters a huge IP.
Yeah.
It's all an investment. All the ones that fail pay for the ones that do good and sprout up these huge IPs around them. So this is a huge waste for them.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah. And now they just have to focus on
they're
making AAA stuff.
Only making AAA stuff. So only Grand Theft Auto, only NBA 2K.
Only all of these every AAA game's the fucking same.
I know.
Just do that over and over again and keep shoveling money into the big machine. This is why the games industry is dying.
Yeah.
Because all of the big budget expensive stuff, all the ones that hit the mainstream news, they're all the same goddamn game with a new coat of paint over it. Instead of being something innovative that feels different.
Yeah.
It's just third-person action game.
And it's like the same way in Hollywood too. Everything needs to be like an Avengers level like success, more or less. But like every once in a while you still get like a $2 million like regular ass movie.
Yeah.
That's like not like filled with special effects and whatnot. And like they're at least pretending to still do that.
Yeah.
Where the game industry is just like, no, we can only make like big budget games now.
Yeah. I mean, to a certain extent, you could see some of these like huge blockbuster movies. They're like following like a cookie cutter format.
Oh,
but
no,
some
absolutely.
of them not. Like the Joker, at least they tried something different.
Yeah.
Anyway, more news. Where are we? Oh, Sharts in Hearts. Thank you for the 14 months. Glad to see Will wasn't shot. The backlog thumbnail. Oh. In the backlog thumbnail, you're like,
well, yeah. I mean, it's a little behind the scenes trivia for you. When I look for like key art for like the backlog and stuff, a lot of these older games, like it's either hard to find high resolution art for them, or there's only like one good image that you can like pull from. And for Uncharted Golden Abyss, which I'm surprised by because that was a first party major Sony release, the only good like key art you can find of that game is the box art essentially of Nathan Drake.
He's getting shot.
Yeah, Nathan Drake shooting me in the head.
Look at him. And you're like, please no, don't do it.
I didn't even like, I don't see us when I do the key art really. I just like put it in there.
Yeah.
I just make sure like, it clears the, oh man.
All right, next news. Death Stranding's on Xbox.
Yes. Seemingly out of nowhere, Death Stranding has finally made its way over to Xbox Series X following developer Kojima Productions taking complete ownership of the IP. This comes just in time for the game's 5-year anniversary, and a press release says that Kojima Productions plans to continue focusing on bringing the IP to more platforms and audiences, so it sounds like this could be just the start. Up to this point, the only consoles Death Stranding was playable on were the PS4 and PS5. Although it did come to PC in 2020 and was slightly bizarrely offered via Xbox's PC Game Pass, despite not actually being playable on Microsoft's consoles.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Anyway, as of right now, that's changed with Death Stranding's Director's Cut finally available on Series X and S, complete with a 50% launch discount to boot. It is my pleasure to finally announce that Death Stranding Director's Cut will be delivered to Xbox players, director Hideo Kojima says in a press release. I would like to thank all the fans who have stayed connected with us, as well as everyone in the Xbox community who has been patiently waiting. Kojima Productions' Death Stranding will continue to connect more and more players around the world, so please stay tuned. In addition, a tweet from PC publisher 505 Games confirms that Death Stranding Director's Cut is now available on Amazon Luna.
Wow.
Hey!
I'm so happy that all the people who have Luna know where to get it now.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this was out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's just like randomly.
Interesting. It is because Kojima got the rights to the game
Yeah.
away from Sony, I guess?
Yeah. Yeah, Sony, because Sony was a co-publisher and funded the game initially. They like owned it. So I guess Kojima came in and was like, give it to me.
Kojima was a little salty when he was like when Death Stranding was part of the like PlayStation like AAA games like showcase.
Yeah.
Like there was like a flyer that had like all like God of War and Uncharted
Yeah.
and Last of Us and then Death Stranding, and Kojima like quote tweeted it and was like, "We are not a Sony game." So it's kind of good to see that they got it back. Also, Kojima has a good relationship with Xbox because he's making an Xbox game. So that's cool. And that's very weird because Japanese developer, Xbox isn't really a big deal over there. But PC is.
Yeah.
PC's huge. So very interesting. So it's cool. I already have this on fucking PlayStation and on Steam. I'm not playing it anywhere else. That's cool. Warner Brothers, though, they say Multiversus is not doing good. And of course it's not.
Yeah. Warner Brothers Discovery has acknowledged that its game business isn't doing as well as it could, with the re-released Multiversus highlighted as a recent disappointment.
I like how they said re-released.
Yeah.
Because technically it's not, but that's the reason why it's failed.
In the company's latest earnings call, CEO David Zaslav said that while he believes its studios business, which encompasses film, TV, and video games, would see improved revenue in the future, he acknowledged that the video game arm is a current weak link. As mentioned, after mentioning upcoming film and television projects, Zaslav said, "But even in an industry of hits and misses, we must acknowledge that our studios business must deliver more consistently. This applies to our games business, which we recognize is substantially underperforming its potential right now. We have 4 strong and profitable game franchises with loyal global fans: Hogwarts Legacy, Mortal Kombat, Game of Thrones, and DC, in particular, Batman. We are focusing on development efforts on those 4 core franchises with proven studios to improve our success ratio." Zaslav notably didn't include Multiversus as one of those strong and profitable games franchises, and later in the call, CFO Gunnar Weidenfels blamed the fighting game for contributing to further year-on-year hit of $100 million in game development in Q3.
All right, you're gonna put all that blame on Multiversus? $100 million worth of blame on Multiversus?
This game is not $100 game. Like, there's no way this game costs $100 million.
No.
Results were impacted by games for which we took another $100+ million impairment due to the underperforming release. Primarily Multiversus this quarter, bringing total write-down year to date to over $300 million in our games business. The key factor in this year's studio's profit decline, he said. In Q4, we expect games to be flat to modest, better year over year, as last year's launch of Hogwarts Legacy on the Switch platform in November is offset by lower costs. Multiversus was a hit when it initially launched in July 2020, seeing 153,000 concurrent players on Steam at its peak. The player base quickly dwindled, however, and the game was closed down for almost a year. It returned in May of 2024 and hit a peak of over 114,000 concurrent players. But if this too has dropped, and the game now hits peak of around 1,700 per day.
Yeah, that's where I think everything went wrong, is that the game like launched in beta.
Yeah.
But it was like pretty done. And then they took the game away for like a long time.
Yeah.
Like
almost 2 years.
2 years, yeah. And then the game suddenly came back, and it's like you lost all the fanfare because we played it already. So that's what screwed them. They should have launched it like normal.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have gone dark for 2 years. That's insane. That's such a bad release strategy. Let's not forget, Warner Brothers Games released Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. How are you going to put hundreds of millions of dollars of blame on Multiversus?
Yeah.
When the Suicide Squad launched the same year. Who are you protecting?
Yeah,
are you protecting
seriously.
the developers of Suicide Squad? What the fuck? I mean, look, I think that Multiversus like deserves a little bit of blame, but
not all the blame.
No.
Yeah.
If anything, Suicide Squad deserves most of the blame.
Yeah. I don't know. Warner Brothers has always been like a weird game company, you know, because like their hits were like pretty good, and then of course once David Zaslav took over, like it all went to shit because he, you know, right when Suicide Squad came out and it was immediately apparent this game was a failure, they announced that they were going to double down on live service games, even though 6 months ago they had the biggest hit of their history with Hogwarts Legacy, a single player only open world Harry Potter game.
Yeah.
But no live service.
That's another thing. They released Harry Potter in 2023. How could you have $300 million of loss? That game was a massive success, despite what everybody online said. Everybody online's like, let's boycott it. And then it made like a fuck ton of money. Anyway. The Harry Potter license is just that.
It's too powerful. Yeah.
So you fucked something up, man. Something's wrong here.
Yeah.
Multiversus had no chance of selling enough to compensate all of the
should
losses.
Have been like a fine, moderately successful mid-tier game.
Yes.
That like obviously is not going to be Smash Brothers, but like has like a decent cult following that people just enjoy playing. You know, it had all the potential in the world to be that. For whatever reason, you're spending too much money on it.
Yeah,
and it's not going to be that.
If you're putting hundreds of millions of dollars of blame into it, you're spending too much money on it.
Especially because like you own all these characters. Like, who like what licenses are you paying?
Yeah, that should be pretty cheap for you, especially compared to Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
All right. Last news: secret Metal Gear Solid 3 voice actor revealed.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
You didn't know this?
No.
Oh boy.
I'm excited.
For the past 20 years, the identity of the woman behind Eva in Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater has been a closely guarded secret. The actor credited with the role is Suzette Minet, but the name is a pseudonym for a much more famous voice actor, and a new video from Konami promoting the upcoming Metal Gear Solid 3 remake reveals it. The third episode of Metal Gear Solid Legacy series, hosted by David Hayter, reveals that the actor behind Eva in Snake Eater is Jodie Benson. She is best known for her roles as Ariel in Disney's The Little Mermaid and Barbie in Pixar's Toy Story franchise.
Oh.
Benson said in discussion with Hayter and Laurie Allen, the voice of the boss, that the choice to go with a pseudonym for her role in Metal Gear Solid 3 was her decision, but one that was informed by the game's voice acting director. Benson explained that because the various projects that she's associated with are family-based, children-based, voice acting director Chris Zimmerman suggested that she goes with a pseudonym. Our director, she sat down with me and she said, like, maybe we need to change her name, Benson recalled. So she asked me, what was your dog's name growing up? And I said, Suzette Monet. So she's like, you know what? Let's build on that. How about Suzetta? And instead of Monet, like the artist, we'll do Minette. And I was like, that sounds like a deal. Benson, Zimmerman, and the rest of the MGS3 voice cast weren't the only ones to know about Suzetta Minette's alter ego. According to Benson, 7 years ago, at an unnamed convention where you meet and greet with wonderful fans, someone slipped her a copy of Snake Eater, apparently for Benson to sign. And I said, why are you bringing this to me? She recalled. And he said, because you're in it. And I said, do you know my deep dark secret? And he said, yes. Benson's work as the voice of Eva will continue in Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. She and other members of the cast have recorded new lines for the still undated remake bound for PS5, Windows PC, and Xbox Series X.
That's really cool.
That's insane. Yeah,
I did not know that.
Like I saw,
and it was a very well kept secret.
Yeah, like I saw when the I didn't watch the video initially. I saw like I think it was Wario64 was posting screen caps of it.
Yeah,
and he posted like, you know, Laurie Allen as the boss, which, you know, I knew Laurie Allen played boss. And then I see Jodie Benson as Eva. And I'm like, wait a minute. Did Ariel play Eva in the original? So I looked it up online. Like, no, someone named Suzette Minet, like, who has no credits otherwise played. So who is this person? Did they recast? No, they didn't.
I have never heard of this person before.
You've seen The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
is that all she's done?
No, she's done other things. She's been in other things. She's most famous for being The Little Mermaid.
Right.
But now,
yeah, it's all Disney stuff.
I mean, that's like her primary focus. I mean, look, you voice a Disney princess, they will take care of you. You will have a job for life.
Yeah, it's literally all Disney
But like,
stuff.
you know, now I want to go back and play Metal Gear Solid because I don't remember Eva sounding like Ariel. You know?
Yeah. I mean, she must have been a lot younger when she also played Aquagirl in Batman Beyond.
There you go. That makes sense. That makes sense. But like, she still voices Ariel in like modern day stuff, and because I have a young daughter at home, I've watched a lot of ancillary Ariel material, and she sounds the same across like the 40 years she's been Ariel. So
I don't remember anything about how Ariel sounds or how Eva sounds.
I know. I now got to go through an MGS3 replay.
I'm thinking of the boss. The boss is in my head.
No, yeah, the boss is
different person.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, this is all cool.
Yes.
They're adding new lines. They're not Kojima lines.
So my understanding is the majority of it is going to be the original voice recordings.
Right.
The new lines is probably just going to be like one-off things, or like they have to re-record a sentence or two. Like they're not adding like expansive story content so much as they're just like maybe like fixing something here and there.
Yeah,
you know,
I hope so. Like, I'm already skeptical of the game because it's losing some of that Kojima charm.
Yeah.
The last trailer I actually kind of liked. I'm gonna play this whole thing with the piss filter on. I think it needs the yellow mist. But it could go bad pretty easily if they add stuff that feels out of place.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm a little skeptical, but this is one of my favorite games, so I'm excited to try it.
And I mean, I've heard good.
And I haven't gotten Metal Gear in a long time.
Yeah.
So
I've been hearing good things about the Silent Hill 2 remake. So like, I know it's going to be a completely different team. So maybe like Konami will learn some lessons from that and like apply them to Metal Gear Delta. So
that's a good point.
But yeah. But then I'm also hearing like things like from like the Silent Hill 2 faithful, like, oh, did they change the camera? So it's a completely different game. They ruined the game. But it's like,
yeah,
what do you want? You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I want out of Metal Gear because the game was fine the way I played it. I mean, I don't know what it would be like if I go back and play
The only thing I can think of, because like I've never played the Subsistence version, which did change the camera. Like it gave you the over-the-shoulder camera instead of the above camera. So I don't know how that impacts gameplay as much.
Was that on the 360 collection?
Yeah.
Did I play that?
So when we got Metal Gear Solid 3, we got the original version
on the PlayStation 2.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
A year later, they came out with Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence, which was like the enhanced version, and that version added a more contemporary 360 camera that like completely like circles.
Yeah, I definitely didn't play that. Yeah. I didn't play that version.
And like later re-releases like have that version.
I only played Peace Walker on the Xbox situation. And that's just a completely different game.
Yeah.
All right, tweet of the week.
Tweet of the week. Tweet of the week. Tweet of the week.
This is from Supa Joda, and it's a picture of the Hulk crying, and it says, "Guys, I'm starting to play multiple games without properly finishing the ones I previously started."
I'm turning into that. I've like started a bunch of games that I don't hate, but like I'm just not finishing them.
Welcome. I've been here. I don't know the last game I've beaten. I can't think of it. I can't think of the last game. I've played so many games this year. Not one have I beaten.
Yeah.
Not a single one. Mario Wonder might have been the last game.
Was it Spider-Man 2? No, it wasn't Spider-Man 2. It's definitely an older game.
Spider-Man 2, I started playing it again because of the stupid PlayStation 5 Pro.
Yeah.
And I turned the game on, and I was in Harry Osborn's fucking lab talking to him for 20 goddamn minutes. I started the game, and I was like, this is why I stopped playing this game. Because I didn't want to get back in and have to talk to Harry Osborn for 20 goddamn minutes. Because I knew it was going to be a whole thing.
Yeah.
And it was a whole thing. And I was like, I just want to swing around so I can get some footage of how the game looks. I don't care about this part. Everyone in the chat saying Mario Wonder like they know my life. But they do, though. UFO 50, I didn't beat it. I didn't play all of the games in UFO 50.
I feel
only
like that's
played like
not a
20
game
of the
you
games.
beat, you know?
Yeah, well, it's very hard to beat because there's
Yeah.
so many games in it. But I didn't even play all of the games. I only played like 20 of the games. Yeah, I don't know. And I played a bunch of indie games too that are pretty quick and small. And I have even freaking Sonic X Shadow Generations is only 5 hours long.
Yeah.
3 hours into it.
Yeah, I haven't got very far.
It should be like 4 hours.
I did start playing Shadow Generations, like, and that's
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That one.
that's a good game.
It's good.
Yeah.
I like it. I liked it the more I got into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm only like 4 hours into it.
Yeah, I haven't. Did I beat the first boss yet?
I beat 2 bosses.
Yeah.
I think.
Don't remember if I
Maybe
beat.
3.
No, I didn't, because you have to get the keys before you fight the boss.
Yeah, it's annoying. They like pad out.
That's what they did in Sonic Generations, and it's worse in Shadow Generations because like the void is like a 3D open world,
and you have to go find the keys.
Yeah,
it's a little annoying. It's not very intuitive. Also, so like it's a 3D. The hub world is like a 3D space. They're kind of emulating Bowser's Fury.
Yeah,
with the hub world. But what sucks about Sonic is, there's like tracks and like rails and like bouncy guys and treadmills that make you go faster to help you navigate.
Yeah.
But what if you have to go backwards?
I know.
So they get annoying to have to fight through.
So like that void was in Sonic Generations also, but that was on a 2D plane.
Yeah.
So like it was easier to navigate.
Yeah. But that's just a little nitpick. I think the game's fine. But yeah, I'm like, another example is Animal Well. I played like a lot of that game. That game's like an 8-hour game.
Yeah.
I played it for 8 hours. I just still never beat it. I've just been walking around in the game trying to figure out what to do next. I kind of gave up on it. Anyway, now we're going to talk to you guys.
Yes. Let's start with people who left comments on last week's Wolf Den Podcast over on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Wolf Den Podcast.
Hey, don't forget, you can get a shirt.
Yeah.
Over at wolfdenapparel.com. Look at it. And cups. Fucking Fred screenshotted this week.
Yeah.
Bob, did you say Dan to Dan? Oh god. Like the anime? What other animes are you watching? I don't watch a lot of anime, I hate to tell you. I tried watching a bunch of stuff and I just never make it past like the 3rd episode. Dan to Dan is the last one. I only watched 1 episode. I intend on watching more because Wood keeps saying that it's good, but I wasn't enthralled with the first episode, so maybe the next one get me interested.
I finally watched Godzilla -1. Speaking of anime,
I want to see that.
It's so good.
I gotta see that.
It's so good. Oh my god! Like Jesus Christ! Like it really makes you like appreciate like Japanese Godzilla because it is just a whole different thing from like what American Godzilla is. It's just so fantastic. And a great tweet from Matt Zoller-Seiss, the editor-at-large of RogerEbert.com. He's like, a great reminder that one of the themes of Godzilla -1 is that you can't trust the government to help you.
I mean,
yeah.
Next we have Abba, who says, now is it Ash's Pikachu, Detective Pikachu, or Red's Pikachu that's president? Oh, because we did a vote last week. Just all of them. All of the Pikachus.
See, I don't know, because Detective Pikachu is a distinctly different character from the traditional Pikachu.
So they're all different. Yes, they're all different beings.
Yes.
Who is in Smash Brothers? I think that's just Pikachu. That's just a random Pikachu.
Hold on. I would imagine it would that the Smash Brothers Pikachu is the definitive Pikachu, which would be the anime. Yeah, Ash's Pikachu.
The Pikachu that is in Smash Brothers is probably the mascot of the Pokemon Company Pikachu.
Yes.
Which is probably Ash's Pikachu.
Probably Ash's Pikachu.
Whoever, I'm thinking of a very distinct image of Pikachu doing a little jump.
Yeah.
With his mouth agape. What Pikachu is that? Probably Ash's Pikachu.
Yeah.
It can't be Red's Pikachu, because isn't Red... No, that's the Pokemon trainer.
Yeah, that's the Pokemon trainer. So that's
a different guy.
Yeah.
It's Red's Pikachu because of the hat. Apparently, one of the alt costumes is the hat.
Oh, Second.
Anyway, next we have, hey Wolf Bros, I recently got an RG35XX SP and was wondering if you guys had any suggestions for games that are easy to pick up and play for short bursts while on the bus or something. Thanks. Tetris.
Yeah, definitive mobile game. You know, if I've been playing on my RG35XX SP.
What's that?
Ghost Babel.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Metal Gear. Now
that
that's
game
not,
fucking rules.
That game is not exactly like a quick burst game. It's very complex.
If you have a save function, then you're the VR missions are.
Yeah, that's right.
On an actual Game Boy, I used to just burst the VR missions while I was going to work and stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Do the VR missions.
The VR missions in Ghost Babel are fucking sick.
Yeah.
Also, I was kind of burst playing Sonic Adventure 2 on my 35XX SP, which is not a great game for that, but that's what I was doing. Also, the Sonic Advanced games, also Metroid Fusion, although that can't take too long between play sessions. You'll forget what you're doing. Make sure your save function is working properly.
Yeah.
Sometimes things get a little fucked up. I lost my save file on the Sonic Adventure.
Yeah.
35XX. Next, David Mulke says, World of Warships can run on a toaster. What is a PS5 Pro enhancement going to be? I'll tell you, because I have experience. Okay? PS5 Pro enhancement is the edges are a little smoother.
Ooh.
Sometimes the frame rate a little better.
And when you're playing World of Warships, you need those extra frames.
It's a competitive game, isn't it? Bahahaha says, I really hope they call it Super Switch.
I mean, there's like one of three things they can call it. Switch 2, the Super Switch, or the new Nintendo Switch.
We were throwing money around. Switch 2.
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch 2 has all my money. I wouldn't put it past them to do. I wouldn't put it past them to do new Nintendo Switch, which would be the dumbest name. That would just confuse people.
Yeah.
Super Switch, I would love for them to do that, or Super Nintendo Switch, but they've gotten so far away from the Super messaging.
Yeah.
They could have used that so many times, and they're just not about it.
Yeah. The thing is, like, the Switch 2 would be the easiest thing to do, but Nintendo never does the easy thing.
I think there is a possibility they do the new Nintendo Switch, which would be dumb. Sir Griffin, Sir whatever, says, did you guys catch the commotion about Stalker 2 needing 160 gigabytes of storage on PC? Personally, I don't really get it. You can get a 2 terabyte SSD for $90 these days, but then you got to buy that.
Yeah. I did not hear the commotion about Stalker 2 being 160 gigs. Especially because, like, games these days are about that size.
Yeah, 160, that's big, but, like, games are kind of big. The thing is that games don't need to be that big. You can... some of these games have done wonders with compression. I think that some developers are taking a little bit of a lazy way out.
Yeah.
Notably Call of Duty.
Especially Call of Duty.
Yeah. Bob, do you think that with all this Nintendo litigation, the emulation scene will pause on the Switch successor Emulator? What? The emulation scene will pause? Oh, till the end of the system life, or will they power on and release it as soon as they can? I think that people will immediately get to work on it.
Yeah.
Not that I think that they necessarily should. I think there should be a little bit of breathing room. I think that what's happening is Nintendo's going after all of these Nintendo Switch emulators because the next Switch is going to have very similar architecture. And if you just work on what Ryu Jinx already did, it'll probably be pretty easy to emulate Nintendo Switch 2 stuff using a lot of what they already built. So it'll probably be relatively easy to emulate Switch 2 stuff. It would be my guess. You get the chance to play Pokemon the Trading Card Game Pocket. No, I still want to. What else? Bob, when are you gonna retro make your Switch Lite? Is that the putting the OLED mod in? I'm not interested in. I am a little interested in the mod where you make a regular Switch an OLED Switch, because that has 1200 nits, I think, of peak brightness or something like that, and that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's just way too many nits. People are saying they like the Pokemon game, and I do want to try it. Did you see the Sonic producer says he wishes for the opportunity to remake Sonic 06? I would love that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people.
I was shocked that they had Sonic 06 levels in Shadow Generation.
I mean, they have Sonic 06 levels in Sonic Generations.
Oh,
yeah.
I forgot about those.
Yeah, because they weren't good.
One of the best levels in Shadow Generations is the Sonic 06 level. I want to play Sonic 06. I never got a chance to.
I have it, I think, at my house. It's only on 360.
I know, which sucks, and there's no backwards compatibility or anything.
Yeah, I mean, of all the games they would want backwards compatible, that's not one of them.
I know, but I would love to just be able to put it in on my Xbox. Hiya, Wolf Team. Hope you are having a great day so far. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
On the subject of Sonic news, the director of Sonic movies are saying how they want to make Silver in the next movie, if I recall the tweet. I'm surprised they're still going.
Yeah.
They have a good trilogy right now.
3 is a nice way to end it. Is there a game you wanted as a kid but couldn't get and now have since played it and have been disappointed?
Disappointed?
I'm trying to think.
One of the games that I wanted so bad when we were growing up but couldn't get because it was on a different system was Mega Man X.
Yes.
And I got it on an emulator once SNES 9X came out, and loved it. So I don't know about one that I
one that
was
like
disappointed
by. I don't know. I mean, there are games that I've wanted as a kid and then got and then never played, but I could say I own it.
Everybody loved Ocarina of Time, and then we rented it, and I was like, I don't understand this.
You're all idiots.
Bob and Will, do you think the Nintendo Switch successor will run on the NVIDIA Tegra Orin, which is 16 gigabytes of RAM? I don't know. I have no idea. Everybody was saying Tegra 2, and now they're probably saying the Orin. I don't know. I have no idea.
It'll definitely be like a Tegra something.
It'll be NVIDIA.
Yeah.
But who knows?
It's going to keep compatibility with Switch 1.
I was thinking, because everybody's, thinking that they're going to have some sort of upscaling situation, like DLSS everybody's been talking about. They will probably have to pay a licensing fee for DLSS.
Probably.
So I don't think they're going to do it.
Yeah.
AMD has one that you don't need to pay a license.
Okay.
Is as what I interpreted.
Yeah.
So I'm not, 100% on this, but it seems like AMD has one that's more open source. So they could go with that, but I'm pretty sure they're going to want to stick with the same architecture.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to have any upscaling at all. Have you thought of doing any collab videos soon? No. Will you and Wood do another Christmas video? Those are my favorite. We have not talked about. Who has more Riz between you two?
Bob.
Well, he's married.
Yeah.
So he already locked it down.
Yeah. Also, Bob's younger. I'm like too old for Riz.
I'm so close to you. Where
those 2 years makes a difference.
2 years mattered, and it's mattering less and less. FSR, wasn't it in Tears of the Kingdom? I don't remember hearing anything like. Wait, that's not upscaling. FSR? Isn't that a frame rate thing?
Thought so. No, AMD Fidelity X Super Resolution.
Oh, that was in Tears of the Kingdom?
What? Featured AMD FSR 3.1 games: Black Ops 6, Final Fantasy 16, Frostpunk 2, God of War Ragnarok, Mech Warrior 5, Satisfactory 1.0. I feel like they would make a big deal if a Nintendo game was supported by it.
This is a GameFAQs thing that says physical version does not have AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution. Means you have to download the update. Oh, apparently there's an update. Patch 1.10 adds Fidelity FX and greatly improves performance. Interesting. Okay. Oh, well then they can just put this in game.
Yeah.
This would they be able to say that this is a selling point of the console if it's up to the developer to add it to the game?
I don't know. I mean, that might be a developer specific thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like they might have to pay a licensing fee if they say NVIDIA DLSS on the console's box, you know, if they use it in marketing to sell the game. But on individual games, putting AMD Fidelity, that I'm pretty sure is open source and anybody can do. FSR is inferior but does not require additional hardware. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them to just continue to do that.
Yeah.
Which is a little lame because they have NVIDIA chips in there, and the Tegra 2, I think, has DLSS capabilities. Anyway, is that everything? Guys, we got shirts.
Yeah.
Go to wolfdenapparel.com. Also, we got cups.
Yes. Go buy our cups.
We got little ones and we got big ones. Look at this big cup. By a company named eCoffee. They do like it's supposed to be like an eco-friendly coffee cup.
Oh, that's what the E was for.
That's what the E is for.
I thought it was your friend.
It's made from PLA based from sugarcane.
Oh,
you know what that means?
You can eat it.
It's just plastic. It's just plastic. I don't know. They've made all these fancy words. It's just a plastic. Thanks for hanging out, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for chatting with us. As always, the WULFF Den Podcast is every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on twitch.tv/WULFDEN and youtube.com/WULFF Den Podcast. If you can't make the show for any reason at all, we always put the archive version up over on youtube.com/WULFF Den Podcast, so you can go and check us out over there on demand whenever you want. But if you prefer to listen to us rather than watch us, then you can do that as well, because we're also an audio podcast on any and every podcast service such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Cast, YouTube Podcasts, Audible.com. No matter where you get the show from, though, folks,
Who has
be sure
a
to
daughter?
subscribe,
Sorry.
rate, and review us, because that helps with the placement on all those respective platforms.
Wood's apparently streaming. I was gonna see if he's still going, but welcome. Just go over there. He's only been streaming for an hour and a half. I mean, put that guy to work.
Yeah.
You know. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We'll see you probably on Thursday. I'm hopefully gonna have a PlayStation 5 Pro video up on Thursday. I'm working on it right now. And check out wolfdenapparel.com. Goodbye.
Bye.